Welcome to the 17th edition of Lawn Care Skull Sessions. I'm Ben from Catch Pro Australia. Joining me is my co-host,
Bam!
the bearded lawnsman. How are you, mate?
I'm fucking hot, Benny.
Yeah, let's put a little disclaimer out for anyone that is viewing this content on YouTube. If you notice that we're glistening at any point, it's because it is hot in here.
It's so bad. We've got lights set up. All the doors are closed. The fan is off.
It's like 40 fucking degrees anyway.
It's ridiculous, man.
So,
it's so hot.
Yeah, look, if we keep wiping our faces and we look like shit, apologies.
If I lift a tit and wipe underneath it, it's hot, man. Cooking.
Speaking of lifting tits and funny things straight off the bat, man, awesome feedback from last week's episode.
So much feedback. It's crazy.
Like, we haven't had that much feedback in a while.
No, we must have done something right, eh?
So it was great having Shorey aboard.
Oh, man.
Did we end up finding his socials?
Yeah, dude, I found his socials, post them up, man. We've been getting so many people like, where can we find Shorey? And I'm like, fucking under a bush somewhere, probably.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story, and I probably should have told it when he was here. But like when we had reached out to him, BJ and I, we typically freestyle a lot of the show. We usually agree on a topic on like a Friday, sometimes a Monday. We usually shoot on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how we roll. But on the Saturday or Sunday, BJ said, hey, hit up Shorey, see if he wants to jump on. So I've done that, and he didn't get back to me right away. And eventually I'm like, oh, okay, does this mean no? When I got on the phone with him, and I was like, hey, man, you keen? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, Lee, I'm up the coast. Lee, I've been living in a tree house for a week.
No way. Yeah. You didn't even tell me that. That's the first I've heard of it.
He said he'd been living in a tree house for a week. So that's just the type of cat he is.
That's awesome.
Regardless of how quirky and, everything like that, super successful businessman. Has built
super cool dude as well.
Built a great business for himself. And it's something that you and I both profit from every day.
Exactly.
Because some of the contracts that he's hooked up for us.
Yeah. Networking, brother.
Yeah. So, did we want to, by any chance, quickly? We've got a couple of new reviews.
Yep.
If we want to say thank you to our latest reviews, these are 5-star reviews, by the way.
That's the ones we want. So there does seem to be one 4-star review there.
Okay, where's that?
Right there. I don't know what that means.
Well, it looks like some jerks giving us a 1-star.
I'm glad they don't even come up.
But
maybe they're just leaving stars. They're not brave enough to leave a comment.
Maybe. So, well, let's get to the awesome people. We've got
sweet, man. So we got
Rusty F.
Yeah, Rusty F111. Absolutely the best podcast out there by the sexiest man around. Don't know if you guys have covered diversifying our businesses, but that would be a good show. And 100%.
That would be an excellent show. So, thank you, Rusty19. I've never been finer. That's freestyle.
That's awful. Tim Andrews as well has dropped a 5-star comment. Quite possibly the best podcast of its kind in the greater Brisbane area, if not all of southeast Queensland. Love your work, boys.
Well, Tim, I just want to say thank you first for the review, and thank you for narrowing it down to the greater Brisbane area.
I'll put my address on it.
Is there anyone else doing a podcast in southeast Queensland?
I don't think so. Not a podcast like this.
We do have our pod brother Gary Ashton down south with Aussie Lawn Stars, but we're the only ones ruling it in QLD, right?
That's it. We're Queensland's.
Okay, cool. So, hey, lots of feedback on YouTube as well. Let's get right into some of these comments. We have a comment from Ben Nutting, and he says, love the banter in this episode. Had me giggling to myself a few times. Keep up the good work, legends. Mow on, Mow Masters.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Benny. Bloody good name, by the way.
We're getting about one Ben comment a week.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We're just popular dudes, hey. Humongous GI Mo says, love the show and the podcast. As you know, I'm at a huge cleanup now. It's 40 degrees and thought I need some good laughs. I flipped it on Spotify and listened to Benny and BJ. Not all heroes wear capes. Made the first hour and a bit of the job more enjoyable. Thank you, Humongous. Did you want to read any of these? Do you want me to roll?
You can roll, man.
We got one from PJ. He says, nice podcast. Interesting to hear about people's journeys and how they made it in the lawn care world, etc. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Black Tooth.
With an F. Tooth.
Hope you guys are safe. He was watching the volcano in Tonga. Took a nap. This comment came through right after. He asked me if we heard the boom. So I was actually, this was, must have been Saturday or Sunday morning when these comments, it must have been Sunday morning because that's when the episode dropped, right?
It was 2 days ago, so yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, so at the time I had commented, I didn't hear the boom, but I'm down the beach right now about to take a swim in the mega high tide.
Yeah.
So, hey, also, g'day to Austin Sitton from North Carolina.
All the way from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just want to know, Austin, if you know Ric Flair.
Woo!
That was awesome.
Is he from North Carolina? Like, obviously.
Yeah, all the way in North Carolina.
Jeez.
And one of his comments in a previous episode was just "g'day."
Jeez.
So what we'd actually love, Austin, is we would love to get a clip of you just saying "g'day." Just send it to us.
And if you could
we'd
share,
like to see the video.
Share us around some of your American friends there.
Yeah,
so
get us rolling in the US, dude. We need to make some money for this shit.
Yeah, we need to make some friends before we head over there this year.
Yeah, we could even interview Austin. That'd be really cool. So one more from Lawn and Border. Great content, guys. Thank you for the upload. Thank you, sir.
Hashtag Skag fam.
Does he have a skag? Oh yeah. I should know that because I think does he have a catch play?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the best. Yeah, we've got some more shout outs. Do you have any on your list, pal?
Yeah, I've got nothing over here. What do you got?
So, quick shout out to Craig Austin from Buck Mowing and Firewood. He's a fellow LMCA member.
I've had a good chat with him a few times.
He said he just absolutely loves hearing just the bullshit stories and the back and forth. Makes him feel like he's with his own friends.
Yeah, nice.
And that's so awesome to hear. Also, shout out to Kenny Morris, who runs the Stripe Life page in America.
Oh, no way.
I don't know if he listens necessarily, but I have been chatting to him lately.
Sweet.
They got some pretty cool stuff going on over there. They've got the old NWO logos.
Yeah.
And they've got SWO for like Stripe World Order.
No way.
They've also got an international... the Stripe Life merch store is actually international now. True. So we can get some mad Stripe Life shit.
Yeah.
So shout out to Kenny Morris.
They'd be slowing down now, wouldn't they?
They'd be slowed up, yeah.
The stripes sort of die off.
Yeah.
I heard that on our pod brother Gary Ashton's podcast today.
Yeah. I haven't got around to listen to his latest episode yet, but I'm always a little bit behind. So I usually get there eventually. But
so Benny, what are we doing today?
We are going to talk about how to make money in winter.
Nice.
Now, obviously, this is something that you and I, we've had to do many times.
Yep.
And for some businesses, this can be either really daunting or it can be a super lucrative time.
Yeah.
So we're just going to share our experiences, stories, maybe touch on a few things that you can do in preparation.
Yeah.
And, for any new listeners, we're all about sharing our experiences. And you can check back through the archives and listen to previous episodes to catch up on the content.
I'll be perfectly honest, when it comes down to winter, my first couple of years, I was fucking terrified of winter because I was still so small that I hadn't learnt how to diversify, and we're covering a bit of a diversification.
Yeah, we can roll.
I'll just make up a word. But no, it's one of those things that was really daunting. When I first started out, I was like not prepared for what winter did not bring, because fuck me, the grass, like even here in Queensland, it just shuts right down. Yeah,
so obviously there's different markets. We're obviously in southeast Queensland, and the summers here are great.
Yeah.
We've got you can't mow enough.
Yeah.
Even our seasons now seem to be going all the way through May, and you're just finishing up your mowing in June.
Yep.
Which is excellent.
Yeah.
When I started 20 years ago, it was tools down in April. And it seems that I don't know if it's a little bit warmer now or if the April showers fucking actually come. Yeah. But it is a little bit different now. And I've had those winters in the past as well where I have thought to myself, like, how am I going to make this work? Like, how am I going to pay the bills?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people, a lot of listeners too, but there's a lot of new people entering the industry from other industries. This is a lot due to COVID and the way that the world is at the moment.
100%.
And, sometimes these businesses can do a startup in summer and get on their feet, and then all of a sudden they can get to winter and they can be like, well, fuck, I'm out of business.
Yeah. And especially now, when I started, I was in December, and it was a dry year, but it still was quite consistently green, and still work would come in. But 2 years after I started was a fucking shocker. I can't remember which year it was exactly, but it was horrible.
All the years just blend in now, mate.
Yeah, dude. No, every season's the same.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I have had seasons where, certainly they're some are better than others, but I hadn't learnt to sell myself yet and upsell services. And so we'll get to all of these things. Yeah.
Another thing we'll probably get to is it's one thing to not have work for yourself, but when you have staff,
horrible.
That's to have to sort of push people off the tools, and that's scary.
Yeah, it's one thing about employing, whether it's one person or a team. It's one thing to be able to sit there and do your own budgets.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to ask someone to really be a part of that team. And then when things aren't so good, it's like, well, hey, man, cheers. Yeah. And then give them a call back in September.
And that's horrible.
So, like, I'll go through, like, we'll touch on all these subjects. We'll go through our experiences. But before we do that, like, a lot of this information that we are sort of talking about right now it doesn't apply to you and I as much right now, because
for the last sort of 3 years, it hasn't really been an issue for me.
Yeah, and probably the last, say, 6 or 7 for me, because we do site work where we look after huge grounds. Yeah. Those paychecks are coming in weekly, regardless of what the fuck we do.
Yeah. And that's where a little bit of the... some people look at these big villages and they say there's not enough money there, but in a drought, I'm still going to work. In winter, I'm still going to work. It's locked in.
Was it 2 years ago? Like, this summer's been awesome. Last summer was good. I think it was the summer before. It was really dry. It looked like Brisbane had been poisoned. Yeah. And down south was way worse.
Yeah, that was the first year that I took over my first 2 big sites.
Yeah. So, and I remember that we were hosing lawns before we mowed them.
To keep the dust out?
Just to suppress the dust. But, and I looked at all of these, that was, I think, maybe LMCA's first year. Wow. Yeah, quite possibly. And I remember looking at all these businesses and they're all applying for, water restrict, whatever it was that I can't remember now. Exemptions and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the exemptions. Yeah, I remember that too.
And, we're sitting here in the shed earning a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's certainly not a reason to get into the village life, because you do offset that, you work harder in summer and stuff like that. But it's also a great way to have your business non-seasonal.
Exactly.
So if we're talking about the flip side, what's maybe one of the very first services that you can offer when the mowing shuts down?
Well, let's say
you're in the residential. Let's say you're just doing residentials, 7 to 10 residentials a day. You've got all of those jobs. So if you're doing 7 to 10 jobs a day, you're doing a minimum of 50. Not a minimum of 50, maximum of 50 mows a week. So that could be anywhere between 40 to 50 mows a week. So that's the client list that you're working with, right?
Yep.
What is your game plan in, say, May?
Oh, okay, so I probably...
Because that's when I usually start buttering people up.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to start buttering them up early, because you will get them to spend a bit of money if you can offer the right services. So the first thing I would probably do is look into advertising.
Sorry, can I just sidebar for a minute? How about we go through all of our topics and then we'll touch on each one after that. So let's say some of the ways that you can upsell or offer new services. Rattle them off for me.
So the ones that I pulled out of my brain were gutter cleaning, pressure washing, garden cleanups, huge one. Mulching's another massive one. Tree trimming and pruning. Advertising is one that probably doesn't come up, but it really should. Spraying, returfing, and landscaping. So they're the ones that I pulled out and we spoke about earlier.
And there would be others.
There definitely would be others. Like, they'll probably come to me halfway through, but...
Yeah. I mean, look, straight off the top of my head, I can already think of... there's not cleaning as in, like, house cleaning, but, you know, at, like, some of the body corps, handrails... bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
I would just slap myself
like
out.
handyman work.
Yeah, sort of
yeah.
like there's really, when you're talking about, say, property maintenance. I know that we're talking to the lawn mowing community, but let's face it, all we're really doing is maintaining areas and keeping areas tidy.
That's it. Yeah.
So whether it's getting a fucking rake and raking out that garden of leaves, or you're getting a rag and you're wiping down those handrails. Now, some of that's not going to cross over into the residential market.
Told ya. Window cleaning.
Window cleaning, yeah. Hey, our mates over at EPMS, Tyson Wilson, all them, they go rank on the
write
windows.
that down.
Okay, so now that we've sort of given people an idea, now we can talk about each one specifically. So,
which one's the most important, do you think, in that list?
In the residential market?
For a beginner as well. So, fresh dude, doesn't have every single tool, might not have a pressure washer yet.
Well, I would suggest like your pruning and garden cleanups.
Yeah.
So if you are servicing residential properties and you're mowing and you trim a few hedges there, or every now and again you get some branches in the summertime. In the wintertime, it's a great I know for us, we would get behind in some of that gardening work.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, all we can do is mow today. We fucking can't do anything else. When you start getting to April, May, and this will change in certain markets, I'm sure in fucking Tasmania, this happens a lot earlier, but just in general, whenever the months start to
and does it ever turn off up north?
Man, I just don't. I wish I knew more.
But main man VJ up there, he's fucking kicking golds, isn't he?
In Townsville, yeah. He's rocking. With the bloody slashing that he does. Yeah. With a bip.
Yeah, I know. He's just rocking out on these fucking cliff faces.
Yeah. But look, I think if it was me, I would be looking around all of those properties, in that April to May, months, and I would literally be looking at everything. So if the gardens, looked like they needed mulch, I'd be definitely pushing for that.
Yep.
If there was hedges, like I know that we used to do hedges, and every time you trim in the hedge, you're like, this fucking hedge is too tall. I wish it was shorter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the perfect thing that you can go to the client and say, this hedge, it needs a reduction. Like we need a meter off this for it to work for us next summer. And like in the winter months, we've had winters where we've turned over way more money than what we have in the summertime. And it's great because instead of doing the same thing at the same time, you get to toss it up a little bit, and you can make great dollars.
Some of the cleanups that I've done have actually just taken me off the tools for an extra day a week. Like we've done some,
absolutely,
you can knock out a cleanup, and you have it's really good. Like a cleanup, that's one thing I miss about doing residential. When you knock out a mad cleanup, and you are lucky enough to get the mulching and everything, you fucking turn this big beast of a dog shit backyard into something beautiful. It's like, fuck yeah, that's good. Like you get a bit of a kick out of that. Yeah, it's like cutting huge grass properties. Like you look back and you're like, oh yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, and if anyone is hooked up with any sort of rental agency, it's a great time to be doing those what do they call them, where the people are exiting the properties.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going to
like-
say bond clean, but it's fucking not bond clean.
Oh, it's like a
Exit something.
exit, something like that.
We're having a mental blank, but we'll get there. But I remember in the summertime, I used to just say, look, we can't do that. And in the wintertime, we used to thrive on those.
Yeah.
And I used to always ask the real estates, like, if you can just wait 2 or 3 more months,
Yeah.
then we'll be able to come in there, rip that thing apart, get it all schmick. And so garden cleanups is definitely a huge one. Now, for anyone who's willing to do a bit of research, maybe get qualified in any way, putting people on spraying programs in the winter months. I know there's lots of folks down south that they start upselling for all your fertilizing,
Yep.
along with your selective herbicides.
Yep.
You can spray roses. You can do all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Now, BJ and I have wanted to potentially do an episode on chemicals. We haven't done it because both BJ and I are not qualified.
No.
And quite honestly, there is a lot of educated folks out there.
They could do it better than we could.
Well, we know the fundamentals, right?
Well, that's it, yeah. Like
I've
up
been
here in
charging this
Queensland-
shit for years.
Yeah, we're sweet up here in Queensland at the moment. We don't need to be certified, so...
But if you do your research and you are obviously safe with the stuff, hey, you can really make some money off that stuff. Putting people on spray programs for, you might spray the bindi and clover. You might use wetting agents and pre-emergence. You
Fertiliser's
can
a big one.
Yeah, you can really make some good coin off that. And what I love about the selective weed sprays, and this is probably coming out of the season a little bit more, like probably maybe more in September, when you're starting to do your bindi clovers. What's great about it is that the formula that you use is that you mow, 14 days later you spray, and then 14 days later you mow again. So all of a sudden, a property that might only get mowed that one time, you're doing
Get
three
three
services over the space of 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And if you do that with a few different clients, you got some work on your hands.
That's it.
So I really like the spraying. And like I said, that goes with all chemicals, fertilizing, etc.
What about mulching, man? I know you got a fucking crook back, but back in the day, I bet you threw some mulch around.
Oh, my brother. My brother. Mulching was just like, it is the quickest way to polish a turd.
Fuck yeah.
Like, man, you walk into some of these places, this place looks fucked. You put some mulch down, you're like, oi, check this out.
And it's a good one to upsell with your cleanups because there's nothing better than a fucking full renovation. And it's not like you don't need specialized equipment. You probably need a fucking, like a little pruning saw, a couple of like pairs of seckies if you've got someone else working with you, a couple of pairs, gloves, bags, trailer, fucking wheelbarrow.
Oh my gosh, it's story time.
Oh my God.
Okay, everyone. So, when I was a lot younger, I believe my first business had failed. It might have even been coming off the back of working with Shorey. I don't know. But my wife, my girlfriend at the time, she's a property manager. So I basically just was like, fuck it, I'm starting business again. We were together, but we used to fend for ourselves. Like we weren't like, proper
sharing
yet. Yeah, we weren't sharing yet. We were sharing some stuff. Anyway, she hooked me up with a garden cleanup. Now, we had to mulch, and I didn't have a wheelbarrow. And I just, you would think to yourself, surely you can find a fucking wheelbarrow somewhere. I legitimately could not find one, and it was a vacant property. I got the mulch in, and I used their wheelie bin. I used the wheelie bin that was on site.
What's our motto?
Doing what you got to do to get through.
That's it, brother.
And so, look, your comment about having simple tools and stuff just sparked that memory.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you can't find a barrow, just get a fucking wheelie bin.
That's it. Well, that's it. When you're not fucking running full steam, like throwing $200 at a new wheelbarrow is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, man, they're bloody expensive.
What's that, like 3 litres of fuel these days?
Oh, mate.
Oh, fuck. Oh, here's me talking and you got fucking old ramekins outside.
Gee whiz, man. I mean, it's not like it doesn't feel like it's like consuming a huge amount of fuel. It's just the fuel tank is so fucking big. Holds like an extra fucking 40 litres.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, back to the app.
That's it.
Yeah, so look, mulching, I bloody love mulching.
Yeah.
Especially if you can bung a few plants in there to really spruce it up.
It just looks so good. It pops really nice when the customer comes home. That's one of the jobs that I've had the most, like, oh, it looks so good, thank you so much. Like, that's one of the ones that I've had the most love from is mulching jobs.
Yeah, and if you've learnt to do it properly as well, like if you've learnt to detail it. Now, something that is funny, and I hate to keep referring to last week's episode, but one thing that Shorey, like it's called detailing, just when you're smoothing off the mulch.
Yeah.
He used to call it sexual vibing. And he'd be like, hey, Benny, you going to sexual vibe that? And you'd be like, yeah, sorry, you fucking weirdo. And, but yeah, so like that's something that I've sort of passed down to everyone as well. And they're
me.
Like, yeah, hey, sexually vibing.
Get in and fucking on your knees. You give it a good fucking rub.
And
smooth it out.
Yeah, so, when you learn the good basic fundamentals of mulching, it can be super profitable and super rewarding.
Yeah. That's 100% correct. So now we're in the bigger villages. What kind of numbers, how many cubes are you throwing at your big one?
Well, this coming winter of 2022, we'll be doing about, probably 60 or 70 cube.
Nice.
I've done a 100 cube job before. Not all by hand. We had a bobcat, but you would be surprised at how much work it really still was.
I fucking can only imagine.
I did with a crew of, there might have been 4 of us. We did like a 50 cube job in a day once, and the gardens weren't too bad. Like they weren't super densely planted, so you could get the barrel loads in there.
Yep.
And we were going like 200 mil thick.
Wow.
And so the boys kept coming back, and they're like, "Oh, we've got too much mulch. This garden's full." And I'm like, "Fucking, if you say that again, mate, just fucking put it in there. We're not fucking done until there is no mulch left." And you just keep sexually vibing that shit till it goes flush. So, but no, look, mulching, it's fantastic if you can do it with simple tools, mulch, fork, and a barra.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fantastic way to be able to, like, especially if you're in that residential market and you got access to like 50 clients, and that's on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So you're really servicing 100 clients.
Yeah.
Out of that 100, if you can pull 10% of them and stretch that out, like if you do a decent mulch job and earn $1,000 or whatever, that can be 2 days of mowing for some people.
That's it.
Not everyone, and times have changed, but super lucrative way.
100%.
What else have we got, Russ?
Before you even get to any of that, what about advertising? So I know for me personally, when it started to slow down,
I'm so sorry. I just can't.
It's so hot, man. I'm sticking. I touched your elbow and I nearly fucking spewed on myself. It's so hot in here. But back to advertising. So I would target cleanups. I would target those big acreages and things like that. Even when I didn't have the equipment to handle the mowing, the fucking cleanups there are bonza. Like,
so you talking about instead of upselling to a current client basis, you're like advertise garden cleanups and stuff.
The thing is, when I was doing it, I was slow. I was slow. Like, it seemed like the ones that the seasons I remember, they seemed to just turn off.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck. Everyone's saying, no, don't come. The grass hasn't grown at all. So, instead of just sitting there and boo-hooing, I thought, fuck, I've got to, go outside the customer base I have and try and make this up somewhere. So I'd target a few different areas just to try and get some of that more juicy work. Is that something that you've done, or is
I have. What I did was actually with the pressure washing. Now, something that Look, I only tried this once. I remember it was pretty successful, and it must have been right before we sort of got pretty well on our feet because I never had to do it again. But I went around one of the estate neighbourhoods, so not like a gated community or anything, but, you know, like a Wakeley sort of, you know, like where they just fucking put all those houses
about a foot away from each other.
Yeah, and so I had a bunch of cards made up, and it was for pressure cleaning driveways and stuff. And what I actually had was typed up, your quote is, and then what I would do is, when I was doing my letterbox drops, obviously you're in their front yard, you can see their driveway.
Yep.
I'd be like, yep, $90 for that one, 120 for that one, and I was just quoting them straight.
That's a fucking really good idea.
Now I ended up, that's the only ideas I have.
That's a really good idea.
I ended up getting a bunch of those, and I mean, you could just upsell anyone. So you would get, or even if they called you, whether they decided before or after, they're like, oh well, you know, we've got a pathway at the back as well, and do you do the garden edging? And like, yeah, man. The only thing I wouldn't do is the building. Like I've just never, like I've never done pressure cleaning on anyone's house because it's way different to just mold on a driveway.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times we didn't even have to mess with chemicals. No. We would tell people straight up, like if there was an oil stain, it's like, nah, it'll sort of faint that up a little bit, but it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't mess with that shit.
So you just offer a basic clean just to get all the dirt and shit off that can come off easily. With
because you know what it's like when you've got those ones that are like full mad moldy.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit it like with a little bit, they just come up $1 million.
Yeah.
If you have ones that are not really that dirty, that's when it's kind of like, oh, you're done now. Yeah.
Would you just hose it?
Yeah. So, no, I really liked the pressure washing game. We still do tons of it at the village.
Oh, do you? Well, nice.
Yeah, we still do tons of it. It's more something that what we try and do now is if we just have like tons and tons of rain.
Yeah.
You know, we try and get out there with the pressure cleaners.
Yeah.
Just because it's something that you can actually do in the rain without fucking everything else.
Story time.
Okay.
So I put my finger into pressure washing.
Yep.
But it only went to the first knuckle, and I bought a $1,300 pressure washer, and I proceeded to pressure wash my own driveway. It's never fucking come out since.
Oh, wow.
Never come out since.
Yeah, but that's not a result of...
It was just I blew up, like my mowing game blew up, and it's never come out again. It will come out now that I own my own house, and I'll be fucking doing shit for that, but my wife was probably not happy. I probably shouldn't have brought that up because she listens from time to time. So
I mean, it's probably something that we should point out that you know, some people they make the decision, like if they want to do some stump grinding.
Yeah.
Some people are like, well, I'm going to get a stump grinder and I'm going to be equipped, I'm going to be ready, I'm going to advertise, I'm going to go about this.
Yeah.
Some other people might be like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. Maybe I might try and drum up some work. I'll just hire a stump grinder for a couple of days, see what it leads into.
And both, you know, if you're passionate about grinding stumps, then, you know, both can work. You can buy one and have a stump grinder hanging about.
Yeah, Jack Hamilton.
I just saw that actually.
Yeah, he got himself a stump grinder. Yeah. And the very first thing I said to him was, hey, I've got tons of stumps at my house that you can fucking grind. I was only joking, and he said, yeah, we can work something out. But don't worry, Jack, I'm only messing with you. But I mean, hey, stump grinding is another thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how lucrative it is to buy one unless you're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's certainly something that, you know, we've hired stump grinders before.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot, like even at one of my villages, there's fucking stumps everywhere. Seems to be something they do. They get trees cut out and they just leave the stumps for the mower men to fucking mow around.
Yeah, well, we're at the bottom of the totem pole, aren't we? So,
okay, so
let's talk about gutter cleaning.
Okay.
Only because it's not a task that I like doing or am that interested in doing.
To be honest, fucking look at me. look at this body.
You're a sexual fucking beast.
I'm a sexual beast on the ground. You get me on the roof and I look like a big fat rooster. Fucking clucking around.
Can you do the sounds for me?
What,
Like a rooster sound?
Cluck, cluck, cock-a-doodle-doo. No, wait.
I was not expecting I was not expecting a little cluck, cluck.
Cluck, cluck.
I thought you were going for like a
Oh, look out.
Anyway.
Proper rooster. So I sent Will up, and only for my father-in-law. So Will's like a fucking ninja. And yeah, he's cool with all that sort of stuff. He like dances around on the roof, and he weighs about a quarter of what I do, so I don't feel like he's going to fall through the collarbone.
So when you are doing, like, don't get me wrong, I've done gutter cleans. I just don't like fucking doing them. I mean, I've done all sorts where you just, like, I don't think I would do a 2-story one. We're not insured above 6 meters, and 6 meters is really high.
That's pretty high.
I only tell people that we're insured for 3 meters.
That's all I tell people.
And but we are insured for 6. You know, we've done the ones where you just crab walking a ladder and you're just scooping it. We've done the ones where you're blowing them.
Yeah.
Blowing the leaves out of the gutter is very quick and efficient. But bloody hell, it leaves a mess down there for you to clean up.
It's one of those people, it's one of those customers you want to hope that you've got someone that wants to mow as well.
Well, you'd have to
blow it onto the grass.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did for my father-in-law. He lives next to a nature reserve. It's right there, like right on his doorstep. Fucking.
Oh, so you just boom.
Just gum trees.
Just boom.
Leaves, yeah. So half the house we can blow straight back into the nature reserve. And the other half has to go on his front yard and his backyard and down the side, and we just blow it onto the lawn and then vacuum it up.
Yeah. So gutter cleaning, hey, it can be super lucrative.
Yeah.
I
honestly
you can probably
don't
get
know how to price it.
Yeah. Look, I got to admit, I would be out of touch.
Yeah. That's someone out there's got to know, have a good pricing structure for gutter cleaning.
Yeah, like, is there some sort of formula that people are working off?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely send it through.
For a single story, roof clean, what are we doing? You would have to think it's got to be a minimum of 120.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be fucking climbing up.
There's not that many things. There's not that, like, I know there's not that many tasks where, like, if they're like, oh, what would you do this? There's not a lot of, like, extra tasks that I'd say are, less than 120.
Yeah.
Because I guess, time is kind of money.
Yeah.
If you need it, it's a bit different. Like, I know that I've had business situations before where, like, I really needed, like, I was really struggling in business, and I probably would have done a gutter clean for $50.
Yeah.
Just because that's what I would need. That's better than fucking nothing.
That's it.
It's just that when you compare it to, say, mowing a lawn, if you compare it to, like, if you're going to mow a $60 lawn, you're probably there 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the most?
Maybe, yeah, if that.
Like, if that. So when you're looking at, like $120, and the time that it's going to take you probably mow 2 lawns in that time.
Yeah.
So you probably need to be around that, if not more. Maybe it's closer to 200. Our audience can let us know.
It depends. Like, I'm guessing that.
Fucking teach us something.
Yeah, teach us. Help us.
We're willing to learn.
Yeah. The guys that do it on a regular, they would have some tools and all that sort of shit that would make it a bit quicker. Not like us, fucking scooping it out with their hands.
Yeah, little hand shovels, like, fucking woo!
Fuck.
I use my hand shovel at the beach all the time with the kids, so...
Well, it came in handy after life in your gutter cleaning world.
What else we got, pal?
We got something that I do a lot of and that I actually enjoy doing.
Talking smack.
And tree trimming.
Tree trimming,
I fucking love trimming trees, man. I love it.
What pole saw are you using at the moment for this stuff?
I am using the Bush Ranger MT262, the multi-tool.
What battery one are you using?
Oh, I got the
Tell them it's a Resi one.
It's the residential Bush Ranger one.
How fucking awesome is it?
I have to admit, I fucking love that thing.
Like, we would never try and steer you guys wrong. You know what I mean?
15 trailer loads of shit, and I've still got the same fucking chain on it.
I cut more bamboo than what there is in the whole of Japan.
think that's China.
China?
Yeah, I think the pandas are from China, so I don't know.
Well, whatever. One of those places. All with that bushrangers, with that little residential bushranger
yeah.
saw, and I haven't even replaced it.
I felt so bad. I was going to do a quick prune today. And I was like, geez, I shouldn't nip that fucking chain up. I haven't even sharpened it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't... Like, I remember when I think I've told the story, but I remember when I was doing it. This might have been on our battery episode.
Yeah.
And if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it, because there's good stuff in there. But... Like, I remember when I was doing the job, I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to fuck this saw.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, it's like $120 attachment. And like, if I fuck it, I'll just go and get another one.
That's exactly right. It comes with a new chain.
Yeah, I've legit got the same one. And
what's a fucking steel chain worth these days? Like $39 or something for one of their
at least
titanium plated fucking things?
Yeah, and the Bushranger chains, I think they're like a Pro Cut.
Yeah.
And they've done
I know
well.
the bars are Pro Cut. But
yeah, they've done well with that chain.
Yeah. It's a good setup. I enjoy using it, and it's so fucking light.
Yeah. You can like... It's like just having like a little... Like it's just nothing.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, well, I've got to do a heap of pruning. I'm going to cut some shit back at home, and that'll be what I use.
Yeah. So, all right, talk to us more about pruning and trees.
That's a massive part of my winter at my village, like one of my biggest villages. Mm-hmm. We just cut back everything. I love canopy lifting things. That's one of my favourite things to do.
Talk to us about a canopy lift, please.
So, a canopy lift is taking all of the bottom limbs off up to a certain point, but basically what it says, it's a canopy lift. So we've done it all the way through one of my villages. It was very closed in, and we just opened it right up. So there was a lot of complaints that the spider webs were going across this path, and it was lined with golden penders and shit like that. And we just took everything. We took all the way up to about 7 foot. So you can walk through
and tell the people also, when you're doing a canopy lift, what other benefits you get, like, with leaves and all sorts of shit. Everything's there for you to clean and see. Like, if there's muck there, you can see it, right?
That's 100% right. And now, like, as my business has progressed, one of the things I'm looking into, because we do so much of that in winter, is a chipper. Not a huge chipper, but just one that can handle just those branches that have grown. Because you do it once. Like, you do it once in winter, and that'll see you through to your next winter. And
are you going to get one of those yellow polka dot bikini ones? What's that, a Hansa?
I don't know. No, I was looking at a Hansa. They seem to have fucking awesome reviews. The Michigan ones also have good reviews. What's another one?
The Greenfield have the Peacemaker. Now, I know that is... Like, it's... I don't know. Like, I'm sure it's a commercial machine.
Yeah.
I don't know the full capabilities. Like, this is something that I have never really looked into.
Yeah.
Just because... It's just so hard it would have been so difficult for someone like me to haul one of those around.
Yeah.
And then to fucking store it anywhere.
Well, see, in winter, I've got such a massive trailer. In winter, I'm not hauling my machines around. So I'm not mowing in winter anyway. So I'll roll one of those up onto the trailer.
Such a great point, BJ.
They're the ones I've got. I've got great points. You've got great ideas.
Okay, so anything further to talk about with your tree pruning? What about
tree pruning,
like business-wise? Like, how far can you really take it? Like, you can do it for like a month, right?
Yeah, easily. Some of my commercial sites that I've got now, fucking, they're going to take some decent pruning as well. This has been one of the craziest growth seasons that we've had. Some of the stuff that I cut back last year is almost back to the same point it was, and it's, I don't know. It's as my business grows, I'm like, oh my god, I'm fucking going to need extra staff in winter just to help me get through this. But no, it's good. That's really something that is a massive visual change too. So when you do it, it just makes such a difference to the look of an area. And yeah.
I mean, it shows that, like, say in a contract environment, it shows that the area has been cared for and touched instead of just neglected all winter.
Yeah.
Maybe in an environment where you have to charge extra dollars and really chase that work, maybe, if you're able to get one, you can maybe take some before and afters.
Yeah.
When you're upselling to, say residential clients or, I mean, in Brisbane, and I'm sure that this carries on anywhere further north, if you're doing your spring cleaning
Yeah.
in spring, you've already fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, you need to hit that shit in the brunt of,
Early.
like, you need to hit that in July, like August.
Yeah.
If you start doing it in spring, you're just, I think you're biting off way more than what you can chew, because the mowing will come back on again.
100%. Yeah.
And then also the shit's going to grow back too quick.
Yeah.
You need to capitalize when it's like stone cold.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get
and
that
it's
cold
such
yet.
nice work. Like, that's another thing that I love about tree. It's good work. You fucking
Yeah, just jeans, flanny.
Yeah,
Fucking, I'm not
knock
even
it
hot,
down.
eh? I'm not even hot.
Yeah.
Fucking me.
not like fucking right now. Like,
Oh, damn.
check these big sweaty titties.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's it, man. It's
I'm
brutal.
firing.
It's
I'm
brutal. Might as well just be out pushing a mower, right?
I just finished pushing them all. Fuck.
Okay, pal. So let's talk about turfing.
Okay.
Now, turfing, I think, it's like your mulching. It's a transformation.
Yeah.
You can really make some mad dollars off it. You don't need to be super educated.
No.
You know, quite often if you're a homeowner or if you've lived in a house, like you might have done a little bit of turfing before already. There's certainly ways to portray that you're way more professional than what maybe you are, or maybe than what the next person is. Like, say, for example, when we do a turf job, we obviously level the area and we usually just get some under turf and stuff like that. But there's people who go like full gnarly, like bedding sand, fucking water crystals, bloody, you know, and there's just upselling to the bloody shithouse.
Yeah, I do water crystals. I do.
Oh, stop it.
I do like a starter fertilizer. I do a little bit of fancy stuff, but I am going to admit to you right now, I fucking hate turfing. I hate it.
Oh,
man.
no.
I hate it.
This is blasphemy.
I fucking hate turfing. I don't know why.
Figure it out. I want to know
honestly,
why.
I have
Just,
no
just
idea
talk
why.
about it.
I love the transformation.
Yep.
So
That's not good enough. You got to tell us.
I think
Like,
maybe
the people want to hear it.
I think maybe it's because all the turfing jobs I've had have been just a pain in the ass, and I can never get the turf to the fucking site properly, and I've got to roll these chunks of turf, and then I've got to wheelbarrow them up a fucking hill,
Yeah.
chuck them up a stairwell, fucking
fair enough.
off a fucking vicious dog on the way to calm it down. It's just hard, man. It's just hard work.
I got to be honest. I would if I had come across like when I was quoting, I'd be like, oh man, I can't do this one, eh?
But fuck, man,
They're probably the ones you got from me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're passing on all these fucking shit ones. I'm like,
Oh
fucking
man.
Benny Badback's like, no, they can't put you can't put the pallet right next to that, so I'm fucking passing that one on.
Well, I got to be honest. I laid like I don't know, probably like maybe 50 or I can't remember. It wasn't 100.
Oh, out here?
Yeah, out here.
Yeah, fuck
and my wife had to do it.
Yeah, fuck.
Don't get me wrong. I was sitting there watching her. Every time she bent over, I was right there.
That was when your back was at its worst, though.
It was really bad, yeah. So
It's a convenient time.
I still leveled everything.
Yeah.
And
right.
she just had to move the rolls. But anyway, it turned out we picked a shady time in the afternoon and it was just us and we had heaps of fun. Now, obviously in a business environment, you can't get that all the time. But we really loved turfing. What we loved about it was usually it meant a half day for us.
Oh, okay.
Because we could, depending on the preparation.
I know what it is. I know what I fucking hate about it.
Preparation.
No, it's the fucking delivery. Every time I've done the turfing job, I got fucked on delivery.
Yeah, I can't say that's ever happened to me, but I'm always like super mega, like I've always booked it way ahead of time, been like, you know, this is when it needs to be here. Is it going to be here? This is what's going to happen. And I can't say I've ever I might have had an hour or two delay.
Yeah.
But it's always rocked up.
So I did a huge turfing job on Wynnum Road. It's a big, beautiful house. I ordered I think it was like 90 square meters or something. So it wasn't a huge amount.
Yeah.
Fucking truck driver rocks up. He's like, yeah, we didn't have the full 90. I'm like, what the fuck is the point in bringing any of it then? Like, I can't fucking half turf this yard. So next day I had to go back again. finished it off, all good, beautiful turf, very, very nice turf. Fucking laid it perfectly, and I did complain because it was ridiculous. Next turf job comes up, we'll be there 7:30, 8 o'clock. Whenever the truck gets here, we'll load it and we'll bring it straight to you. Fucking 11:30, 12 o'clock in the day, I've just been sitting there on my flattened out area. Like, it always happens to me, and that I think is why I don't like turfing, and I don't like landscaping jobs. I fucking always get shafted on delivery.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is something that people have to account for, and it's great that you spoke about, the bad side of things and the risks that you can take or at least come across. Yeah, I mean, look, I've mostly had good experiences. I really love turfing just because, like, I really love grass.
Yeah.
And most of the turfing jobs that we would do would be, either for an existing client. I guess, there would be new clients, but it was always something that if it was a new client, 9 times out of 10 we got the maintenance.
Yeah.
If it was an old client, it benefited us because, we were probably mowing fucking dirt or just something stupid before. But it was always sort of like a skill or something that I could provide.
Yeah. Where
I could, instead of working with loud machinery, when you're trimming hedges or you're using chainsaws and, mowers, all of that shit's so loud. This is just the boys getting in there with some barrows, laying that, spreading that, bring this in, and actually, at the end when you get to water it in, see, I'm fucking bringing it to life.
Yeah, look, I've done a turfing job with you before.
It's all about the boys, eh?
Remember down the loader? We did a turfing job together, the garden and turfing job.
Yeah, wait, no.
Vicky's mum's old house?
Yeah, that was awesome. Remember wasn't it like so badly raining that we're like, we got to go do this fucking turf job because we can't do nothing else.
You couldn't do anything else, so we ended up doing a turf job.
That was a great little job.
That was a good job. Okay.
Stung them good for that too, eh?
Yeah, you did.
So it made you come around a little.
It did make me come around a bit. But that was a fucking rarity for me. And now...
But at your villages...
I'm going to admit something.
Yeah, okay.
I fucking outsource all of my turfing now.
Yeah, that's a dog act.
Oh, fucking here's you talking about dog act. I fucking got you, what, how many square metres of free turf?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's fucking good one. Yeah, no, I outsource it. Doesn't cost me that much at all. It's like...
Dude, Shorey outsources all of... He's got a guy that lives on a turf farm.
Dude, I think that's the dude that I use.
Does he come out with his daughter or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he like supplies it.
Yeah.
For like $6 a roll and lays it for like $8 a roll or something crazy. Like
100%. Fucking why would you not? And you can still tack money on that. And
fucking oath.
Make dollar bills.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's smart business. As long as this...
What other kind of business do I do?
Well, we do this podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
This is free shit.
This is just free content, by the way.
And have a look at us. Boiling over. I need some electrolytes now.
Yeah, fucking, I'm thirsty.
That's all right. Give me some more coffee to rob the rest of my electrolytes.
I'm empty.
I was about to say, we both shouldn't take a drink at the same time because then we got dead air.
I'm empty on everything.
So, look, is there anything to piggyback on turfing, pal? Like...
Oh, look, there's always the additives that you can throw into turfing, like your water crystals and your ferts and shit like that. Oh, Benny's sharing his water with me.
Yeah, I was about to say, for the people who aren't just watching and that can actually see the shit that we're doing, for the people who are just on the mowers listening, we have to walk them through everything we're doing.
Yeah, well,
I've just refilled BJ's cup.
Sharing is caring. Fuck. It's so hot, man. Well, yeah, basically that's it. You know what? After you've turfed, it's a good idea to upsell like lawn grub and shit like that because, the fucking lawn grubs are absolutely fucking banging this season, apparently. I personally have only seen 1 or 2 cases, but from what I hear, they're fucking running rampant.
Now, I have been listening to you, right?
Yeah.
Except you just like... fully stimulated the area of my brain that thinks about this show because we're mostly freestyling.
Not your wiener.
it's dead.
It's dead.
It's dead. It's so hot. But irrigation.
Oh.
Now, I'm not talking about laying fucking solenoids and doing all that shit. I'm just talking about simple irrigation, either maintenance or installs.
Yeah.
Now, we have done some mad irrigation installs.
Yeah.
Shorey has done like full mad proper weather station shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
At the mansion, you know.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. But look, irrigation, I also know Carly Waller does some pretty amazing irrigation installs, like, you know, digging the trenches and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be on these jobs for a week, and if you know what you're doing, there's some good dollars in that.
Yeah, I just saw our bros up there in Bundy from the lawn lab. They're dropping some irrigation in today. Fuck, it'd be hot up there.
Now, a new one that has also just come to mind when you're talking about grubs, and we touched on this briefly last week. So we've had like armyworm or some sort of lawn grub here in Brisbane.
Yeah.
It's running rife.
Yeah.
I think you just mentioned that,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I had it here at my place, and it didn't attack. Like, I've got, you know, like a 30-40 square meter section of just cooch, just green cooch, and I usually just duck over it with a battery mower every couple of days, and it's usually reasonable. Anyway, I had this, half of it was yellow, and every time I walked past it was pissing me off.
Yeah.
So one thing that I did was I obviously treated the grubs, but even once you treat it, it's still going to look fucked.
Yeah.
Till it grows back. So mowed it all nice, so at least it was all level, and then I've painted my lawn.
Hey.
Now I'm telling you now, this colour guard that I use, these motherfuckers should pay up for this. But colour guard, it's got the dude from Better Homes and Gardens. That's how I found it.
Oh.
Don't think he does that anymore, but anyway. It is a very natural colour.
Yeah, I have to admit, I've seen you paint it with a few different ones, and this one is the nicest by far.
Now, I don't mind the other one, but the other one is a little bit too blue for me. Like, if you had just blue cooch, it'd probably look all right. And it still looks good. It's just that this is a much more natural green.
And you got native buffalo down the bottom, which is
and I don't have
green.
Yeah, you don't always have to paint that stuff.
No.
But up here, my cooch, just to make it look sweet and fresh. Now, in America, in, like, you know, say Phoenix, LA, you know, all of those hotter areas, during all the droughts, this has become a real good, lucrative thing for them to do, lawn painting. And it's a awesome, this is all coming to me now, by the way. If you're doing, you know, these real estate jobs where they need to sell the house, they need to get it all cleaned up, and they're getting real estate photos for like an auction or whatever the case may be, man, you can come in here and you can take photos of your own and say, hey, look at what I've done.
Yeah.
And you can put, like, no one's really doing this at the moment. So this is something that some people, I've posted on social media, and some people have gone like, oh, pigment dye, ew. But it looks really awesome and natural.
It really does. I wouldn't know if you didn't tell me when I came over last week. If you didn't tell me in Shorey that you'd painted the lawn, I never would have known.
So what other chemical specialists do is they just put down like liquid iron.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that doesn't. It just turns the grass green.
Yeah.
It doesn't fertilize it. Doesn't make it grow. Doesn't do anything. Just makes it green. Now I'm telling you now. You try and do a liquid iron treatment, and after 2 or 3 days you look at it, you'd put on this colour guard stuff, go inside, get a glass of water, come out, have a look at it. It's fucking instant.
Yeah.
And it seriously makes me so happy. It sounds fucking pathetic.
Nah, dude.
I would paint my lawn. I'd, like, you know,
As a homeowner,
I probably paint it like maybe say 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
And what it does is, in the summer months, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Even though I've just done it because of the grubs, but it's healthy, it's green. You don't have to paint it. When you're coming in and out of the season, paint it once a month, and she just looks a bloody treat all the time. And you can charge awesome dollars for this, because not only can you upsell the chemical, you got your labour time, and then you can spin some shit on top like, hey, no one else is doing this.
Yeah, that's a unique service. Very unique.
So, I'd even love to see you incorporate it into your business.
Maybe. We'll see what the future holds for TBL property maintenance.
Oh, hopefully it's some aircon. maybe that's the next thing for Catch Pro.
Maybe we can get a Electrolytes or Mitsubishi.
Maybe
Mitsubishi to
maybe someone
support us.
Maybe someone can sponsor us like with some sort of aircon or something.
Jesus. Yeah, well, it's not going to be much better. So my wife was taking the reins for the shed build.
Yep.
Because apparently I'm shit at it, and I've just given her the dimensions I want and the configuration I want, and she's taking the reins because, like I always say, she's the brains of the operation. She gets shit done. Me, I just fucking... Today, man, it was just such a pig of a day. But we got to catch up. It was nice.
Yeah.
Came and visited me. It was lovely.
Yeah, so we've got... we shot some stuff with the Ego whippersnipper.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
Just to show it off a little. So that was pretty cool. If you if anyone wants to follow the Ego Power Plus range page, geez, I'm stuffing up everywhere.
Oh.
Do you get to see BJ laying some edges?
They're not going to sponsor us now. Fuck.
Oh boy,
Jesus.
Is this some of our finest work?
It is, man. Did we touch on window cleaning? Because that's something I've never done.
It's something that we...
But it seems like it'd be a cool...
We suggested it. We haven't really touched on it.
Tyson does that, hey? Like,
Tyson does heaps. So in the body corporate... his body corporate environment, essentially the way that he's got it set up, a lot of the unit complexes that he goes to, they might be like, say, 20, 30, 40... 40 is probably too many. Maybe 10, 20 unit complex. Every place he mows, does the hedges, and you know how they sometimes they have like not like a foyer, but like just a little stairwell to get to your units. So he cleans them, and quite often you get all the grubs that come in, touching the glass, carrying on. So he cleans them every fortnight.
Sweet.
And he's got everything jigged up.
Yeah,
like
nice.
It's really awesome when you and what it also does for your business is, so this isn't something that he does seasonally, he does it every 2 weeks. So, you know, when you are quoting a place and you're like, okay, we're going to mow, we're going to do the edges, we're going to hedge, and we're going to blow all the pathways. So you got $120 service, let's say. Might be 150, 160, whatever. Then it's like, well, we can clean the glass door, and then we can wipe the handrails down, and we can quickly sweep or mop the floor.
Yeah.
You got a $250 service.
Yeah.
And
realistically, you're not spending hours there doing all that. Like,
no, it's like you know, I mean, hey, when you start getting amongst it and you start getting a rhythm going, you know, so he can as a solo operator, you know, you can probably only really do say 4 or 5 of those a day.
Yeah.
But that's mad coin. That's $1,000.
Fuck yeah.
Something else that's just coming to mind is pool maintenance.
Oh. Yeah, well,
now this isn't something that I've ever offered. I've had to do it.
Yeah.
You're currently doing it now?
I'm currently doing it now at one of my villages. So maintenance in the it's not, I'm not doing the chems. So I make sure like the filter's backwashed. I take it the creepy in and out. Clean all the filter, hose the duck shit. We're lucky we haven't had any ducks. We got fucking crows. We got crows galore. Magpies, but no ducks, man.
At our village, man, there's a bloody duck orgy every day. They just come in there and start sturgeon up the joint.
It's a duck fuck.
Poor DJ and Rusty, you see them out there in the mornings and they're just like, it's just haggis. But anyway,
yuck.
But yeah, certainly pool maintenance, like, there's lots and lots of lawn mowing contractors that offer that.
Yeah. I know.
It helps diversify.
Clinton from Camden. I know he was diversifying into actually
cleaning. Office cleaning.
Doing like he's got a very diverse business going.
Yeah.
So
look, I think for some people, you know, some business people, they just want to do what they know.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And it obviously, if they're successful and they're paying their bills, that's bloody great. Other people get bored of being so repetitive.
Yeah.
And it is very repetitive. And if you can diversify a little bit and be like, well, today's my pool cleaning day.
Yeah.
Or, I know Greg Anderson from Aussie Contractors, for example. I think he has like a mowing week and then a hedging week.
Okay.
That's not something that I would enjoy.
No.
I feel like I would dread one of those weeks, probably the hedging week. But for him, it works a treat.
Yeah.
It's just another example of how you can diversify.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which week is more lucrative. I think his hedge trimming week is more lucrative.
Yeah.
Just because mowing is super competitive. But these are all fantastic ways to earn extra money in the winter when the grass is not growing.
Fucking good ideas too. And I have done pretty much every single one except for maybe gutter cleaning, and I've got sexual services on here. I don't know why I put that down. If you get desperate, you could always throw a leg over just to get a bit of coin in the
Flash
pocket.
out a booby.
Yeah. Fucking pull my big sweaty knockers out.
So, something else that's not on our list, some people might offer painting.
Yeah, true.
In terms of, I'm not talking about like, putting on a bloody white uniform and painting a house.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about touch-ups. We've got all the handyman side of things.
What can't you learn on Google these days too?
Yeah, man, like fence palings, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
All of that handyman stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a pretty competitive environment in the sense that there's a higher hubbies and there's all the handyman services. What's great about in a lawn mowing environment is that you already have an existing customer base.
Yep.
That you don't have to build up anything. You should even if you don't have heaps and heaps of customers, you at least have something there.
Yeah.
So I know quite often it's the opposite for us. Like, people will be like, a customer might be like, oh, do you know anyone who does tree trimming? And, you're sort of like, oh, yeah. And then, you already know that it's coming at you. Like, oh, how much would you charge? It's like, man, I don't want to do this. Like,
I had one of those the other day for lawn mowing. And she's like, oh, it's a little block. It's about a foot high. What would you charge? Because I told her she was out of my catchment area. So I was like, no. And she was like, what would you charge? I was like, a lot. I was like, some poor bastard's going to go there and he's going to have to abide by my quote over the phone.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I've got another quote.
Yeah, it's like you're at a customer's house. It's like, all right, see you later, Shirley. Oh, by the way, do you guys do hand weeding? Oh, me no English, no mo.
Fucking hand weeding, bro.
Or just like, wait, fuck off, Shirley.
Yeah, no thank you.
So look, any other services that you can think of, pal?
No, dude. Like, that's pretty much racked my brain. I don't really do much more than that. These are all ones that I personally have done or have spoken to people who do.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about me tapped out.
I mean, the only other things I can really think of, and the only reason why I'm still dribbling on and not finishing the app is, from the feedback that we're hearing, people either want an extra episode a week, or they want us to go longer. Now, we can talk smack all day long, but I just figured while we're still balling, leaf cleanups as well. Now, don't get us wrong. We're not in the American market. No. We're not doing our file cleanups. But when you're talking about services in winter when the grass isn't growing, you can fucking find some leaves somewhere.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's another one of those jobs or tasks where I feel like it could be super rewarding.
Yeah.
Like, we do it at our village.
Yeah.
We don't have time. Like, a lot of the times we're blowing leaves, we're doing, stuff like that. In the winter time, you're able to blow the leaves out of there, get a rake,
bag them.
Dispose of them. Even we talked about remulching. Sometimes the existing mulch can already be reasonable.
Yeah.
Just rejuvenating it a little bit, turning it up, and redetailing it. All of those things are stuff that you can charge dollars for without having to charge the material cost on top.
Yep.
So, that's great. I mean, we do that all the time.
Yeah, I've done that. So at my big site, we turned over the mulch. We were supposed to get some mulch last year, but fucking COVID messed up everything.
With the supplier?
Yeah,
or?
with our supplier.
Are you still going through the big dogs?
Yeah. There was also they also had a fire. which was a massive setback. So we get tea tree bulk, like 35 cubes a tank.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum, yeah. So normally they'll bring 2 up.
Get old Dick and Daryl.
Yeah, one goes to the fucking to the yard.
They
and
bring
one
the
goes
trailer
to
and
us.
the dog up, and one goes to the landscape yard,
That's
and one
it.
comes here.
That's it. Yeah. So they they had a few issues, but it just got to the point in winter where I was like, we're just going to deal with what we've got here. So we just started detailing gardens using what we had, moving around a bit, and still do hours. That one, it's a set price every week, so it's not like I made any extra money. But no, it's definitely something you can do.
Now, something that I want to talk about that we don't really get to do here, but firewood. Super lucrative businesses down south, mowing businesses that, like I know guys that, they got numerous chainsaws. As soon as it gets to April, they start getting amongst it and they start selling or offering firewood.
Yeah, well,
and we have fires here in the winter.
Yeah,
but it's not like you don't need a fire to be warm.
Craig Austin, actually, I spoke to him last firewood season, and
he's on my sheet.
So you gave him a shout out at the start, and he does a fucking ripper of a trade. So he's one of the dudes that bags up and sends it around the country. So
so Craig Austin, if you want to shed some more light on, hey, maybe that'd be a great interview as we're coming into the winter months, because what we do on this podcast is we shoot week to week, so we don't bank this shit up.
No, that's it.
So if you guys are following the Skull Sessions journey, then you will be right with us. When did we start shooting? I remember it was cold. I had a flanny on. Might have been August.
It was, yeah. So this is 17 weeks ago. 18 weeks ago, sorry.
Don't let me do maths.
I'm fucking no good at
We
maths.
missed 1 week because of dipshit.
Yeah, so...
So what's 18 weeks? How many months is that? That's like 4.5.
4.5 months.
So what's 4.5 months ago from now?
Tuesday.
Purple's a fruit.
Yeah, purple's a fruit.
All right. Well, we're not going to freestyle maths because we don't seem to be any good at it. But what I was getting,
wrong with us? It was it was like August, September, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Because as well, the first week that we shot, it didn't go out immediately. It took like a week or two to get the first one out. Then we started balling from there.
Hey, also, just on that, fucking hook us up with some more feedback, because I've been changing up the start. And I've been...
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to talk about our rainbow banner.
Oh, yeah, well, we've got a rainbow banner now.
Look, I was saying that it's gnarly. And then BJ's like, maybe people are going to think that we're
together,
gay. And I'm not trying to offend. There's nothing wrong with anyone being gay.
But I just thought, because there's 2 blokes sitting like 2 inches away from each other, and we always are talking to each other.
So just let us know.
Sweating on each other.
I don't even have a shirt on right now. Just let us know. Does it look? Does it look gay or does it look gnarly? I don't know.
I thought it looked alright. But
I do also want to say, like, I am saying the word gay. But no, I mean, hey, the world is so fucking sensitive these days. Man, Josh was gay. And we did some real weird shit in front of him. And
yeah, we did.
It doesn't mean anything to us. Just everyone's just a person.
That's
so
it.
Just because I say the word gay doesn't mean gay people need to freak out, right?
Yeah, man. It's just skin.
Yeah, I mean, when the lights are off, it's all the same, right?
Except for the beard, kind of gives it away. Yeah. But anyway, no, I'm talking about like the actual starting, like the
intro, the little fucking yeah,
we changed it up.
Yeah, I mean, look, I probably would. I'd like to see a hip hop beat, like a little bit of scratching.
Try find one of them for free.
Man, I spent like 5 minutes. And I was like, man, I'm fucking over this. I'd rather just use something that I like and get sued.
That music that I got cost me a fucking hand job behind a garbage bin.
Let us know if you want us to get sued.
Yeah, we'll just play some Biggie Smalls or something.
I don't think we are on anyone's radar. And they have to send you a cease and desist first.
Do they?
Don't they? Surely they can't.
But they can sue if you've made money out of it, which we ain't.
Where's the money at?
Yeah.
But But maybe we can use like a licensed hip hop beat and get sued and then countersue them for like hurting our feelings or something.
Yeah, maybe.
That shit is real these days.
Jeez.
Let us know if you like our intro. BJ's been messing with some stuff. We both don't have a lot of time, as you can see with our handwritten notes. Not a ton of preparation goes into this because of the time of the year.
Well, again, I actually brought a change of clothes, which I may as well just fucking stayed in my work clothes. You got the sweat that's poured onto these ones.
While we're here, I wouldn't mind giving a quick shout out. Shit. I'm having a bloody shocker.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Nick down in Mount Warren Park, Beenleigh area.
Oh, nice.
He's got a 32V ride coming.
Yes.
And he picked up a Catch Pro and a Pro Shield shoot blocker for that.
Yeah.
So that was just today.
Oh my god, he's got the same as me.
Yeah. So just a quick little shout out to Nick. By the time this drops, he's apparently getting his rig on Friday. So that'd be really cool.
That's awesome.
Is it time to put a bow on this episode?
I think it is, man. I think it is.
Let us know if you want us to go longer. And I don't think we would ever do 2 episodes.
Nah.
But we could certainly go longer.
Yeah, we get some podcast Viagra and try and keep it up longer.
Yeah, well, we get some aircon and we might be able. I could sit in here forever. Then.
I'm literally going to run out the door as soon as we slap hands.
But definitely let us know, and we've got tons of great feedback on the last couple of episodes, so keep the comments coming.
Thank you very much for everything that's been happening, man. It's so cool.
Thank you for joining me, BJ, in the sauna, the Catch Pro sauna. This is where I build the Catch Pros.
Fuck, man. Well, normally the fan would be on, eh?
Yeah, but how cold is that thing going to make you?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys, until next week, thank you very much. And
Peace.
Peace.